Hi, George here, and today I'll be showing you how to do a paper cutout effect. Real fun and easy little trick here inside of Photoshop Elements. Now to start off, I just went up here to File, New and Blank File, and I have mine set at the default Photoshop Elements size, which is 6x4 at 300. And then for the background here, bottom right-hand corner, I went over to Graphics, right there, and in Backgrounds, and straight down, I chose this one right there, kind of an orange color background. And that's where we are right now. Okay, let's go ahead and switch this over to Layers. And I'll be covering a few tools and techniques in here. If you want to get more training on all the different tools and techniques inside of Photoshop Elements with easy step-by-step instructions, take a look at my photo coach for Photoshop Elements. I'll tell you more about that at the end of the video. Okay, we now need to have some more layers behind this. So go up here where it says Background, double-click where it says Background. We'll rename this to Layer 0, and then let's make 3 layers in here. 1, 2, 3, and then take your layer 0 and drag it up to the top. Now on our middle layer here, layer 2, go over, tap on the color left-hand side, and grab the middle red, which is your upper right-hand corner. Choose OK, and Paint Bucket, and we're going to fill this with that red. Now you can't see it because this top layer is in the way. I'll hide that top layer, and here's that red. Let's just hide this. Come down to layer 1. I want a darker red down here. So let's go ahead, click on that color again, bring back up the color picker. And let's pull this down on the right-hand side about halfway. Doesn't have to be exact. Choose OK. And let's click into here. Let's now show this layer again on top. There we go. Let's come back to this layer, back to the color picker. And I'll go back to the upper right-hand corner. And then come over to the left-hand side here about halfway again. Choose OK, and let's go up here to layer 3, and Paint Bucket, and click in here. And we now have 3 layers with kind of a medium light pink, and a red, and a darker red. All right, now let's go ahead and work on our shapes. Bring back in our top layer, and go over here to the Shape tool. It most likely looks like a square like that. Click on that, come down here to the bottom, with the upper left-hand corner kind of a squiggly shape. You want that one. And then in here, the upper left-hand corner is a heart shape. We'll be using that heart shape. And let's change our colors here to straight black and white. And then down here in the options, make sure you have From Center checked. And Unconstrained is fine. Then come somewhere about the middle of your picture, click and drag, and you can drag out a heart shape. You want a pretty good size, kind of like that. There we go. Hide that top layer. There it is. And that looks good. If you want to, you can drag it so it's exactly in the center. It'll kind of snap to that center position. You can see it right there. There's the snap, and up and down. Right there. Snaps to the center. Now I want to have a couple more copies of this, and each one a little bit smaller than the previous one. So I'm going to first drag in a couple of guidelines like that. That gives me my center point. If you're not seeing your guidelines, go up to View, and right there where it says Guides, make sure that's checked. And also make sure rulers are checked so you can drag your guidelines down from your rulers. And come into the center point and position your cursor right over that center, and then click and drag out and draw in another heart. If you pull to the side, it goes wider. Top to bottom gets taller. And just make that kind of fit so you're looking about like that. And then let go. There's our second shape. And the same thing again, come right on top of this and click and drag. Let's do a third heart and about like that. So now I have 3 hearts in here. Take shape 3 and drag it down so it's above layer 2. Take shape 2, drag it down so it's above layer 3. And then take shape 1 and put that above layer 0. We're going to be using these as cookie cutters to cut through these layers. Okay, I'm going to hide everything up here. Let's do our bottom one first, which is right here. Hold the Control key down and click on the thumbnail. That selects that area. Now we either can just hit the Delete key and punch that out, or if you want more control in the future, you can do this with layer masks. A little safer method. But for a layer mask, go up here to Select and Inverse. And now the red area is selected. Come down to layer 2 of the red layer and hit the layer mask button. And then hide that shape 3. So we're now seeing through the red layer onto the darker red underneath. Okay, let's show our layer 3 right here. There we go. Let's come up here to shape number 2. Do the exact same thing. Hold the Control key down, click on that shape, and that turns it into a selection. Let's invert the selection. That's Select, Inverse. Come down to layer 3 and hit the layer mask button. The reason why I'm doing it as a layer mask is I can then come back and change it if I wanted to in the future. I could change the shape, size, whatever I wanted to. I wouldn't have to redraw or refill this part of that layer. Okay, so now show our top up here. Let's go up here to shape 1. That's our top heart shape. Same thing, hold the control key down, click on that heart shape. That selects that. Come down to layer 0 and up to select and inverse and layer mask. There we go. Okay, now come back and hide all of these hearts. It's all of our hearts hidden. Looking pretty good. Looks like it's just a painted heart on here. And I'm going to hide these guidelines, get those out of the way. Go up to View and uncheck Guides. There we go. Let's now give this that fancy paper cut look. And for that, we'll come down here to Layer 2 and go up to Layer Style, Style Settings. You want Drop Shadow. Bring your lighting angle over here to about 135. Doesn't have to be exact, but about there. You can kind of see that shadow in here. Let's bring the opacity up to about 75 or so. And then bring your distance up a little bit. That brings it out. There we go. And then bring your size up a little bit just to soften that edge. Right about like that. Okay. Now on layer 2, see that little FX over here? You can see that this is the layer that has that effect on it. So right click where it says layer 2 and copy layer style. Let's go up to layer 3, click on this one, right click, paste layer style. Up here to our top color layer, right click on this one and paste layer style. And there we go. There's that cut paper effect. Looks like we've stacked several sheets of paper and cut out hearts in all of those different shapes. It's a great little trick, works great with these larger kind of shapes like this. It really works out well. It doesn't work out as well with text, but it's great for large shapes. It makes a real attractive look. If you want to make it for a card or something else, you'll put your text anywhere else that you want to, but a real fun way to give this kind of an interesting cut paper effect. Now, I mentioned earlier that I have a tool which I call the Photo Coach for Photoshop Elements, and it's a collection of hundreds of different articles, step-by-step instructions, and I'm going through right now and putting in a lot of video in there as well. That shows you how to do almost everything inside of Photoshop Elements. It's a great tool. If you already know how to use Photoshop Elements, but you want a really good resource for everything you don't know about, it's a great tool for that. It's easily searchable. And on some of these tutorials, like this one here, where there's several steps, I'll be putting this into the Photo Coach as well. So then have this as a written step-by-step instruction set. And I'll put a link for that at the top of the description. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any videos in the future. And I'll see you next time.